fucking truck.
Good sunny day everybody, and welcome at E36 vlog 42, painting brand new OEM brakes. But before I start, first some coffee. Starbucks, still best of the best. Well, I just received some pictures from a guy who swapped 330i big brakes on his E46, the front and also the rear. He welded his handbrake shoes at the rear. I'm going to show you pictures now. Looks really good. I'm not going to do the rear because I exchanged my wheel bearings, and that's different from the 330i. So I'm going to keep it stock at the rear, and later I'm going to swap the front for 330i new OEM big brakes. Well, the reason why I buy expensive OEM new brakes is because I found out that if you have to exchange your old brakes, it means that they give you refurbished brakes, what means that you get new brake cylinders and rubbers and stuff. But it's not a 100% new brake because they cannot refurbish the iron. So that's the reason I choose for ordering new brakes at the dealer. If you want to go that road, bring your wallet. It's not cheap, it's very expensive. But they say you have to exchange your brakes once in a lifetime. Then one other thing, people ask me how I do it with tinting my windows. Well, the secret is in this box. I do it sunglass style. I don't have my sunglass here. No, it's out. But what I mean with that is the front window and the front side windows I tint very light, and I tint it up at the back, the small window, and the rear window I tint more dark, so you get like the sunglass effect. I choose to do that because if you do the front windows like legal, and you do your rear windows very dark, it looks very cheap. So what I do is I tint it up a little bit and at the rear as dark as possible. If you do everything all around, it looks pretty dark, and it also looks luxury. So that's how I do it. So what are we going to do today? Well, first I'm going to the dealer. On the Saturdays they close earlier, especially the parts department. And then after I'm going to exchange this one. It's the brake cylinder with a little bit of rust in it. So I'm going to get the brake cylinder at the other shop, and also some tool to get these in the right way. And then I go home. I ordered some parts, new Brembo brakes, something to get the air out of the brakes, and I also mixed paint in the color of the car. You can use 1K paint because you cannot get 2K in metallic. So the color code I gave them, I'm going to show you guys that later, and I'm going to top that off with a 2K clear coat, and that's necessary to get the gasoline and the dirt out, and it also makes it heat resistant. I double checked it. The guy with the 330i swap also did it, so it should be perfect then. But we have to go to the shops now, or else they're going to close, so let's hurry up now. Okay, we're at the dealer. Let's pick up the brakes. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I have never seen brand new OEM brakes in my life before. So what did I order? Two times the brake claws. The left and the right are different, so watch the OEM numbers. Also the bracket aren't included. The left and the right side are the same. What's also not included are the clamps that comes on the sides over here, and some brand new bolts. What is included, of course, a new brake cylinder with the rubber dust cap, a bleeding screw with a new rubber, and the rubber bushes. And what they also supplied is OEM second set of bushes and a set of new gliding pins. So like you can clearly see, is they already put a color on it, so I'm not going to use a base coat. Thing is, I don't know if you can see that, guys, they didn't put paint here on the gliding sides, over here, this side, and the side where the brake pads are coming on, also here. I don't know why, just for the numbers, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape in the brake calipers really good, and I'm only going to put on paint where it's OEM lead paint. Like I said, I'm not going to use a base color. I'm going to use this as a base, grind it up a little bit with some red scotch. Then I'm going to put BMW 354, that's Titan Metallic color paint on it. It's only delivered in 1K. That's because there's a metallic in it and you cannot order that in a 2K. So that makes the second step very important. A 2K top off color, transparent, what makes the brakes heat resistant and also warn against oils and gasoline and stuff. So that's a very important step. So I've already got everything here. It's a brand new step, so degreasing it is a little bit less important, but it's always important to get the paint on really good. Use a degreaser that's really get the dirt off and not just moves it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do extra my best. That's because it's only for the rear about 1K, and I also want to top off the result of the professional painter of my 330i red stuff big brakes. So let's go. Well, no rain today, so I'm going to install the new OEM rear brakes. The 330i front brakes are at the dealer now. I'm going to install them later. What I do ordered and already received are some fresh new stainless steel brake lines. It's very good to get the spongy effect out of your brakes. The OEM ones are from rubber, and when the brakes are getting hot, it's going to put out, and then you have the spongy effect. This is stainless steel, so the material doesn't come out, and you keep your performance on your brakes. There are 3 different kinds of greases that I use. I learned that it's very important what kind of greases you use for your brakes. I explained that in another vlog when I'm going to put apart all the parts from the 330i big brakes. Bedding in your brake pads and discs is also very important, or else there's going to be a flat layer on your pads, and that is bad for your performance. When you get new discs and new pads on your BMW, you don't have to bleed your system, because the system doesn't get open, and that's not so exciting. Bleeding the system, well, it's something that you can do yourself if you have the right material. You can also do it with your pedal, but I wouldn't do that if I were you, because you can destroy your head cylinder. Bleeding the brakes is an important thing to do, because there's going to be air in it. That's bad for braking, and it's also going to get rust in your brake system. You're dealing with your brakes, so if you cannot do this, don't do it. I think it's doable. I have never done it before, but I'm going to try it. I've ordered new ATA race fluids. I don't bought the race version because it's resisted against higher heats, because if my brakes get that heat, then the paint doesn't like that. I did it because it has like a blue fluid, so if I'm going to bleed them, the blue fluid comes out, and then I know it's bleeded enough. One thing, you have to do the right passenger side first, because it's the longest distance, then the rear from the driver's side, the right from the passenger side, and at the end the left from the driver. You don't have to do that, but to get all the air out, it's the best solution, so better do it, it doesn't matter. So last thing, next to a bleeding machine, I also bought this, number 9. I don't know if you can see it. It's a lot of thicker. I used the normal ones and I destroyed my bleeding pin. So if it's old and rusty, better buy this set. Doesn't is so expensive, so why not? Like I said before, I never bleeded a brake system before, but I'm going to try it today. The rear brakes were stuck, so my rims are a little bit black now. So before I'm going to bleed the system, put the new brakes on, I'm going to wash them off, because I don't want the material to bite in my new brake. So I'm going now. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see. I think it's doable, so let's go.